Hello, this is Professor Andy Frasco, PhD from EDM University, and this is a segment we'd like to call
Fuck It! Just Dub It!
On today's lesson, we're going to be analyzing and exploring the dub potential of all things Disney music. We have our colleague Gregory Ormont, a music theater professor from the college Pigeons Playing Ping Pong University, who will sing a Disney song of his choice, and we will see if we can actually dub it. Shall we get started? Greg, you're on the clock.
The world for once in perfect harmony with all its living things. Can you feel the love? Pal is doomed.
And we're back. Andy Frasco's World Saving Podcast. I'm Andy Frasco. How's your heads? How's your minds? Are you still going to vote for Nick Gerlach 2024 for the Indianapolis mayor campaign? Let's go. Our guy.
2034.
Now he's our show pony.
Yeah.
Now you're my show pony.
2034, baby. 10 years.
This is, speaking of Indiana, this is a summer camp music festival edition.
It's in Illinois, but
it's in Midwest.
It's right there. Hey, hot tip, by the way, if you're flying in, don't fly into Chicago and go down. Fly into Indy.
How far is that?
Roughly a little bit short of a drive, but you gain an hour.
Oh, nice.
And it's an easier drive because you're not getting out of Chicago's airport. Indy's airport's right on the west side of Indy, right off 74, basically. You get up there in 2.5 hours. A little hot tip, plus it's cheaper to fly into Indy. There you go.
There you go. Summer camp. So if you're flying in for summer camp, fly into Indianapolis and drive. Or fly into Peoria if you want to be bougie.
If you're rich, go to Peoria, obviously.
Yeah.
If you're rich, but you're going to summer camp, so go to Indy. I mean, if you're rich, you'd be at EDC Vegas. I'm just kidding.
We have Manic. We have one of the artists, one of the headliners of the fest. Jonathan from Manic Focus.
Well, he is Manic Focus.
How do you say that? If he's one man, but he goes by a name.
He's Manic Focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have Manic Focus.
A man I love dearly.
We're dipping our toes into the waters of Matanka.
He's a great guy. He also does a sick magic trick at the very end of the podcast.
Yeah,
so you want to get on video for this one.
Yeah, you got to go watch this on volume.com because he is, it was amazing. I didn't know a lot about him.
I dug it up.
He dug it up.
Actually,
Give me some
he's my
info. He's manic. That's why his name is Manic Focus.
He's bipolar.
Bipolar.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing? Kind of
No,
parallel?
well, manic is half of bipolar.
Oh.
It's bipolar, polar means you're on both sides of it. So you have the manic part and the depressive part.
Oh shit.
Some people are just manic, I guess. I don't know how common that is, but there's definitely people who are just depressed.
But this was a tell-all. He says he doesn't really talk about this publicly, and he was very vulnerable, and I think you're gonna love this. So head to volume.com and watch his magic trick.
It's so good.
It was. I was shocked. It blew my mind.
I hit him up. I was like, "We don't have any cards here. Can you bring some cards?" He's like, "I got some cards."
And
he probably has so many cards.
So shout out to volume.com. It was a long episode, so we're just gonna go straight to the plugs. Volume.com. Head over to volume.com. Our podcast, if you want to watch it on video, is there. They are going to be streaming live shows from the Bitter End in New York City. And if you don't know what the Bitter End is, it is one of the coolest venues in New York City. You're going to love all the shows they're going to put on there.
Which borough is it in?
I think it's Lower East Side.
Lower East Side. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then they also have catalog of live shows. If you want to go watch your favorite bands, I guarantee you they're on volume.com. And also if you want to rewatch some of that NOLA funk, jazz fest stuff. Those are still on there
There's
too.
so much shit on there. Just get on there and start fucking around. It's free.
And our whole podcast is backlogged there if you want to watch the video. And so go to volume.com/
if you're an artist,
Andy Frasco.
you can sign up for free too if you're an artist.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I would if I were you, but I don't know. I'm not you. I try. So maybe you don't want to try, and you just want to hope the world comes to you and it'll all work out.
Yeah.
Because I grew up and everything's gone my way. You know, it's not going to work that way. You got to try. Get on Volume. Sign up.
Yeah. Also, you got to try edibles, dialed in gummies. Grab yourself some dialed in gummies if you're in the Colorado area. There's a lot of Red Rock shows coming up. I know people. You guys are going to be flying in to go hang out on the rocks. So what are we going to do about it?
We're going to eat edibles because it's much easier to take around with you all day.
Yeah, you don't want a whole bunch of weed on you.
And they'll take your pen. They took my pen last year.
Red Rocks took your pen?
Dude, I almost Karened out on this guy. He was like, wouldn't let me bring it in because it was like together. It's a battery in the thing. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? This is legal.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to
Do you know who I am? I've worked here more than you have.
How dare
I've been the side man for many openers.
I am endorsed by a weed company, an edible company. How dare you not take my freedom?
I've been the side man for direct support many times.
I've worked at Red Rocks many of times. How dare
I know every security guy but you somehow.
So grab yourself some dialed in gummies.
Yeah, I played there 15
them out.
times.
You probably played there. You played there 100 times.
15.
15? You played Red Rocks 15 times?
Mm-hmm. That's counting the pandemic where I didn't really get to play for 3 years.
God,
I was banging it out 4 or 5 times a year there when I first moved here.
I am so impressed with you. Every day I look at you and I'm like...
I am. It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
It does.
I kind of come off like a lazy bum.
You kind of like you feel like you're lazy.
People think I'm like a lazy guy. I'm actually, maybe a little.
You are kind of lazy, but you do it
Not
to
really.
recharge. You do the laziness to recharge.
Well, I just don't I don't party. So
no.
So maybe that's where I'm lazy, but I get my shit done.
So maybe people are just stereotyping you, thinking you're lazy when actually you're just tired.
It's a musician thing. I'm not tired. I just don't like people. Sometimes I want to stay home and play games.
Yeah.
With my high school friends.
Me too.
That's not lazy to me. That's valuable.
I just watched this reality television show about people who sell baseball cards. Golden.
Mm-hmm.
Company who sells memorabilia.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
What's it on?
Netflix.
I'm gonna watch it.
Cool.
Yeah, I do have this weird thing though where people sort of think I'm like this laissez-faire sort of. I get my shit done very early.
They don't know that he's just on dialed in gummies. So get yourself
baby,
some
I'm high.
dialed in
That's the thing.
gummies.
I'm high as hell.
You're
Yeah.
high as hell.
And I'm just so smart that I get things done so quickly.
Okay, chill.
Let me.
Chill.
I do though.
Chill.
I'm very intelligent, so things it doesn't take me a long time.
We're done with
What you guys do takes me half the time. mentally.
Okay. Come on. We're gonna shoo off these hold steady people before they don't even know who the hell we are.
I think they can tell I'm joking. I'm clearly
so.
overweight.
Volume. Thank you, and thank you, Dialed In Gummies. We got a great interview.
They're delicious, the Dowden gummies. You got to eat them.
Yes, eat them while you're watching a live stream on Volume.
Yeah.
We got a great episode. I'm telling you.
I love this guy.
As we've been getting deeper into the EDM world and interviewing.
Speaking of Red Rocks, I played with him there once.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because I just interviewed Bob Moses. I did Manic Focus, and now we did Grizz. I mean, we're to hear their
Boogie
stories and Boogie T
Taboo.
and Taboo. Damn,
Taboo.
we are in.
We're pretty much DJs.
We're pretty much DJs.
Sun Squabby.
We're podcast DJs.
Hell yeah.
And Sun Squabby.
I love electronic music, so
I've been liking it more and more.
it's my favorite.
To be honest.
It's my favorite thing right now.
Yeah, I fuck with Grizz. I fuck with Manic Focus.
It's just fresh and new. There's no lyrics.
I fucked with Bob Moses. Bob Moses is dope music.
They're hot, fashionable, cool guys.
And they're
too.
hot guys, yeah.
My first electric force, I rode in the shuttle with them, and they were just
But this isn't about our friends. This is about our boy Manic Focus, whose
our
music
friend.
is also fucking badass.
Yeah.
Chris,
blowing
play
up.
some Manic Focus. He's from Minnesota.
Yee.
And he went to Chicago,
And then here.
and then he came to Denver, and he's huge. This is perfect for summer camp. By the way, go to summer camp. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's coming up next week.
I'm sure he's playing like one of the bigger stages.
He's
at
got a
great
big
time
stage,
slot. Yeah,
but like summer. This is the best thing about summer camp, is they develop all these great bands.
Oh, yeah, I'm familiar.
And turn into these fucking huge acts, big gigantic, Manic Focus.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not a huge act, but they've helped our career.
He tried to help my band, but it didn't work.
Well, it was because that
Yeah,
band's name was
it's not-
Cosby Sweater.
It's not his fault.
It wasn't his
I'm
fault.
just saying he tried to help.
It was
I'm
the
giving
marketing.
I'm giving him credit.
Okay, I'll respect that.
Yeah. I'm not taking it away. I'm saying thank you,
But
Ian.
I'm also doing this because
I don't.
Cosby Sweater,
That was a great name until he was
a rapist. Yeah,
a serial rapist.
yeah. He's on the streets again.
I know he's doing shows. How come I can't do shows? I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that anymore. But it was
Jesus Christ, Nick. Anyway, back to Manic Focus.
Manny Folky.
I love his music. He's putting out a new record.
Nice guy.
He's super nice, and his story is unbelievable.
Yeah.
About being bipolar and figuring it out later in his life. He basically found it out right before in high school.
Quite the tale.
It is quite the tale, and he's vulnerable about it, and he talks about how music saved his life.
A lot of stops on the way for him to success.
Right. So you're going to listen to that. And
he earned it.
Yeah. And while we're talking about music, download my new album, or download my new song, You Do You.
His single.
Pre-save my new album, La Optimist, that comes out August 11th.
L'Optimiste.
I did all my plugs. Oh, and the other plug I want to do. Just be happy with yourself. God. Be happy with who you want to be.
Oh, yeah.
Be the person, even if you feel like you have flaws, you don't. Because
no, you do, but that's fine, actually.
Yeah, everyone else has flaws too, so you don't have a flaw if everyone else has flaws too.
Like I always say, you know what? If you're anxious about how other people think about you, you got to remember, everybody's pretty much just obsessed with themselves and what everybody thinks of them.
So they're
not thinking about you the way you're thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Nick.
They're not.
You're right.
No one cares.
No one cares.
I don't think about anyone that's not in the room with me ever. I'm just kidding. But like, you know what I'm saying?
I overthink about everybody.
Yeah, I know. That's why you think everyone's thinking about you all the time. Because you're like, I do that.
But you know what I mean. Take a step back.
Relax.
And relax and love yourself. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy Manic Focus.
Manny.
All right, let's clap it up.
We never tell the guests what to do for.
Here we go. Let's do it again.
Wow. He's got
Simpactico.
The producers always have the good time.
I know. They're on that beat. J-Mac, how we doing, buddy?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Manic Focus in the building today. I like it. Let's go. More DJs. Producers.
Fresh off a Red Rocks crush.
Yeah. How was the Red Rocks show?
Man, it was amazing.
Tell me about it. Like, give me your whole play to play. Like, were you nervous? Like, you've done it before.
Yeah, actually, this is my my 8th time.
Let's go.
Opening on Red Rocks.
I played with you there once, remember?
Yeah, we did the Pretty Lights
live band.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's probably my favorite venue in the world. It's just it's amazing, and one thing I noticed is whenever I'm playing a show at a venue, you know, the stage is usually above and the crowd is underneath you, but whenever I address the crowd, I'm usually like looking up. Like, yo, what's up? You know, and just kind of shouting at the ceiling. But at Red Rocks, you do that, and it's like everybody's up there. So.
Do you get pre-show anxiety, or are you a type of dude, or you're always prepared? Are you a prepared dude?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty prepared. I do get a little bit of pre-show anxiety. Mostly, it's not really I wouldn't call it nerves. It's more I want to be out on stage because that's where anything can go wrong, and I'd rather address that right away instead of sitting waiting is this sound all right, or my monitor's good.
What's the biggest fuck up that's ever happened?
Man,
you hired me.
No, I think actually, when you played with me, when we opened at Red Rocks for Pretty Lights, the first song just glitched out.
Oh, I remember this.
Completely stopped, and thankfully I had the band. So I'm playing, and
that's right.
As soon as the beat hit, the computer just kind of cut out.
It happens.
And the band's still kind of going, and then I'm like, oh, I have to do a full reset in front of everybody right now. But yeah,
what did you tell the band? Keep playing, boys.
Yeah.
We're sinking with the ship like Titanic. The band on Titanic.
That was a sick band too.
Yeah.
What do you like better, being there solo or having a band play with you?
Oh man, I think I like them both. I think it really depends on the situation, because with the band, if I have a solid sound guy and a solid crew like at Red Rocks, and then it's amazing because everything is pretty smooth. The mics aren't feeding back.
Right.
But thing with solo sets is that I feel like I can work on the set right up until I go on stage.
Right.
I can make edits and things like that. Whereas with the band, I have once that set is done, you know, weeks or a month in advance. I'm like, that's the set.
I get them. I get them from you pretty early. You're one of the early guys as far as having the set done.
Yeah,
I've definitely played some sets where they're like, it's like day of. You know, usually it's a week out for you. I think it's pretty good.
You're like summer camp hero over there. Like, how many years have you done summer camp?
Oh man, since 2013, maybe. Was my first one.
2013.
Yeah.
You're from? Did you like live in Chicago before you moved to Denver?
Yeah, so I'm from the Twin Cities, St.
Oh,
Paul,
cool.
Minnesota, and then I moved to Chicago in about 2010 and launched Manic Focus in Chicago.
With Berg? Was Berg like your manager or something?
So it was actually me and my brother Joe
Yeah.
had started the Manic Focus, the LLC, and we didn't have any industry connects at all. So I was like making the beats, and I hadn't even really known much about the festival scene or gone to a lot of shows. I was like a big hip hop fan, big into the atmosphere, Brother Ali, that kind of Midwest Minnesota hip hop, and then my friends in college kind of were like, "Oh, come to North Coast."
Yeah.
The very first North Coast.
Oh, that was when it was starting to pop.
Yeah, and when the whole festival scene started to pop, and I went there, and I was like, "Oh man, I got to be a part of this." And so I started transitioned from hip hop beats to this electronic kind of mashup hybrid thing. And my brother's like, "Yo, man, let's go for it."
Right.
We didn't know anybody, so I moved to Chicago, and he's just really good at networking.
Yeah.
Got us
He
with
is good at
promoters,
that.
and
What'd you see in the electronic scene that made you so fascinated with it and to move from hip hop to electronic? Was it just like because it was popular, or did you like really love the scene that was growing?
I loved the scene. And honestly, in particular, Pretty Lights was really like,
Yeah.
he got me thinking about music and electronic music in a different way.
Like how?
Like I wasn't really a big fan of like necessarily like the EDM scene, you know, like house music or dubstep. Like I was like, yeah, that stuff's okay, but like I wasn't really big into that. And then Pretty Lights to me kind of made sense. It felt like a kind of like progressive hip hop as far as like where it's like the tempo is dope. It felt like a hip hop beat with synth elements. There's mashup elements. It just felt like he was infusing his own sound and style into like mashups or remixes as opposed to just a plain mashup.
Yeah.
And I really loved that. And so especially, you know, the tempo and the vibe to me was everything.
Do you remember your first show going electronic like that? What was the experience like? Were you like nervous, like changing your sound like that and playing in front of people, or like were you ready?
I definitely wasn't ready. I think too, when I look back on my older songs, when I had jumped into making electronic music, I never really like DJ'd.
Yeah.
Ever. I was basically producing songs and then playing my songs live. So when I would produce songs, I produced them with just like each song individually in mind.
Right.
But never like, is this song, can you transition easy from one song to the next? Like I think a lot of EDM tracks have a formula almost where it's like, all right, the first 4 bars or 8 bars are going to be atonal, and it'll be something that if you're playing another song, you can transition really easily into this song. Yeah. And then maybe there's a bridge that you can transition out of or into. And my music didn't have that format at all. So when I was like DJing it was just a train wreck of, like, of transitions. It's like, I'm here and now, like, like this song keeps changing every fucking 4 bars. So
it's like
I
a band almost. Yeah.
It's kind of like I think of that as like naturally talented. You're not like going by a format, like, or you're not like reading a book of how to EDM. You know? It's like, you're doing it yourself in your own. Like I think of like EDM Sean Marion, you know, as a shooter. His shot is so fucking weird, but he's like, it went in. Yeah, that's fucking beautiful, man. So I'm very curious about. You know, we're gonna talk about it all, but your brother managing you is so fascinating to me. Like, how do you get shit done without wanting to fight him?
Oh, we our fights are quick, and then we just
why did he want to be your manager? Like, are you guys best friends? Like, have you always been close with him, or he has a great brain? Like, why'd you want to start a business with your brother?
Also, who's older?
I'm older.
You're older, that's right.
15 months though.
Right.
So it's real close.
So you went to high school together?
Yeah, high school, grade school. I attended, so we went to, high school in St. Paul. And I was always 1 grade above him, so I graduated 05 and he was 06. And then I left St. Paul, went to DePaul for college.
Yeah.
And he came and visited me and he loved it. So then he came to DePaul and stayed in Chicago. Yeah, I think he's always had a great networking brain and like really good at kind of connecting and meeting people and very business minded. He went to school for marketing. And so starting it with him, I think, I love him to death. And we were, even though we're close and, I consider him a best friend.
Right.
We certainly fight all,
Like, what are the fights? Like, what are they like?
I guess he could be kind of a troll sometimes.
Oh, he'll troll you?
Yeah.
He's a troll for sure.
He could be kind of a troll.
Joe will fuck with you in the green room.
Yeah.
Really?
No,
He rules, but he doesn't fuck with me too much.
No.
Not after last time. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so he'll pick on me sometimes, and then I'll get offended and I'll pick on him. But
Like,
He never wanted to do music?
I'm the famous one.
We both took piano.
Yeah, you getting 15% of what I make. Remember?
Let's go. Always know your worth. J-Mac, always know your worth, baby.
Shit rolls downhill, brother. I know, and I'm older. I bet people think he's older a lot, though.
Yeah, well, and he would always do this thing too, where like we would meet people, and he's like, "Who's older?" And he would say, and people would be like him, and then I'm like, man,
Whoever does that, the other guy's older.
exactly.
No one goes like, "Who do you think looks older?"
The older one isn't gonna go ask that question.
Do you think I look older? Like I'm gonna die sooner than him?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. So like, I just love family dynamics when it comes to business because it's just like it's so hard to start any business and have business partners, then have a business partner that you're fucking stuck with forever.
Yeah.
So like, you either have to squash the beef or you're gonna ruin Thanksgiving.
There's got to be some advantages to it in your brother.
I think the advantage is that
He'll say it. Like,
yeah, he can be straightforward.
Yeah.
So as far as like a lot of my songs, I play them for him, and he's always been kind of my number one fan.
Yeah.
And so
that's fucking cute.
I'll play him the song. If he doesn't like it, he'll just be blunt. Like if I'm playing a beat,
That's
he'll
cool.
be like, "This is cool," and then the drop hits. He's like, and he'll make the face, and that
you know
is
the
like,
face when it's real.
Yeah, he'll make a face like, "Nah, I don't like that," but he doesn't know music production.
Does he live here?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we should get him.
He's in
next,
real. He's in
next
real estate.
episode,
Now.
Real estate.
Both of you coming on this fucking show.
When you told me he was in real estate, now I'm like, oh yeah, of course. Like, he's gonna crush that, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, he's very, very honest with his opinion, which I kind of I appreciate. It's frustrating too because I'll spend a couple hours on a track and hey, check this out, and he'll be like, doesn't like it, and I'm like, man, I just spent 5 hours on it.
Yeah. Or what about like, are you ever like writing like from scratch and he's in the room and he's just like bickering like, no, that sucks. Keep going.
No, sometimes like that hasn't happened as much anymore, but usually if there's somebody over my shoulder and I'm making a beat, I move a lot faster.
Oh, cool.
Like I try to anyway.
So you like collaborating?
Yeah, for sometimes it really depends on who I'm collaborating with. I like being in the driver's seat because I think, especially with this style of production, where you're starting and stopping all the time.
Editing of it,
Yeah, it can get real nauseating quick if you're not the person on the computer.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody else is like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
It's just like
get the fuck away from the computer, bro.
Even though you'd be doing the exact same thing.
Exactly.
There is something frustrating about like what they want to do and they're like not quite getting there. You're like, God, if I just did this, it would take 3 keystrokes.
Like, step aside. Let me
exactly.
just, But also too, when I was making rap beats like in high school and stuff, you'd have, I'd have friends in the room writing raps, and you get good at trying to make something and keep the loop going, and just making the loop and having to tolerate it for hours on end.
Yeah.
So I think that kind of helped with my style and helped my production chops, is being able to make a beat and just loop it on end and kind of create a vibey thing that you could write to.
Does he ever get jealous that you're the star? Because you guys both played piano together, like you kind of grew up playing music, and then he moved to business, and you stayed with it.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't get that vibe.
Yeah, I think he's even though he can be real social and stuff, I don't think getting on stage has ever really been.
It's never been his vibe.
Kind of vibe, yeah.
So you started playing piano. Was it like classically piano?
Yeah. It was like I did like classical piano from like 6 to about 14. Yeah, and I had this teacher who had a PhD in piano, and he and his wife actually both did, and they both had students, and we would do like concerto competitions and that kind of thing when I was real little.
What?
Yeah, it was wild. It was very.
Do you use any of that knowledge in your music?
Yeah, I try to, especially like composing strings or any like piano stuff. I like to incorporate like that sound or like progressions like that, especially like little runs. Like, but
and you know, like the basics of theory from it, probably.
Yeah.
Did you go to music school?
No, I wanted to, but unfortunately, I didn't really get my scales down. Which is,
Hell yeah, I'll clap to that. Let's go. My man's at Red Rocks, though. You don't need scales to go to Red Rocks.
but like, I think a lot of it was like my teacher would play it, and I could kind of sight read because he would put fingering like 1, 3, 4, 2,
right.
and then I go home, practice it, and get it memorized and muscle memory and that kind of thing.
Right.
So I think any of the theory that he had kind of instilled in me was more of like a background intuition thing, and that stuck with me as far as like what sounds good together, the context of notes and that kind of thing.
What was your dynamic with your parents? Were they supportive of you doing music and stuff?
Yeah, I'd say so. My dad was always really supportive. My mom is really supportive today. I think she was a little more on the hesitant side.
Why?
Especially starting, because music is just incredibly competitive, and I think it's also, it's competitive and it's a gamble, especially if you don't know anybody in the industry. And my mom's like, "You don't know your skills. Like, what are you doing?"
That's cool, but they never told you to quit.
No.
Yeah.
I think with my mom at certain points, and it's because the brother dynamic, like we would get in a fight and then we'd call our mom. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, you guys go work at Trader Joe's. You guys
Joe said my beat's not hitting. Joe said I'm clipping at 400.
God, it's so I love how, because like it does take a village to build the confidence of a kid to follow this dream called music. It's like if you have parents who are just beating you down saying you're not going to be a fucking musician, you're not going to be a fucking musician, and eventually you listen to it.
Yeah.
And I heard you suffer with a little bit of bipolar as well.
Yeah, I'd say it's a lot of it.
Oh yeah? Tell me your battle with bipolar.
Oh man, so I was diagnosed in 2007. I was attending DePaul University, and I think I was doing the typical college thing of just like drinking, partying. And classes were a background thing. I would still do them.
Did you pass your classes?
Yeah. I was doing fairly decent actually. But it certainly, spark notes and just just whatever.
What were you majoring in?
Oh, that was another thing. I was majoring in, I think my first major was philosophy.
Me too.
And then
weren't you a copywriter or something? Didn't you do writing too?
I ended up in technical writing.
That's right. Yeah.
But I was English. I was philosophy and English.
Yeah.
And
Same.
I think the philosophy kind of played into when I finally went manic.
Yeah.
It made it really difficult to like argue with me because I had like known all these philosophical.
But Freud says this is normal.
Yeah.
Damn. So when was your first episode, you think?
Yeah, like 2007. I was at DePaul and was drinking, smoking a lot of weed. And like it just kind of snowballed, like you getting these thought patterns that and it was triggering like an underlying thing.
Yeah.
But I ended up like one weekend in the spring was just real chatty one night, and then it was just kept spiraling. And
like your brain was chatty?
No, like I was like socializing, and I would just not stop talking, and it was going down this spiral of like, oh God, and the meaning of life and all this stuff. And then I called my dad. I'm like, I got the meaning of life in my head. And he flew down to Chicago, grabbed me, flew me back home. And then
did he know it was starting to come? Like, did he feel it when you were a kid?
I don't know if he felt it when I was a kid. My mom feels like she sensed, looking back, she thought she sensed it my senior year of high school.
Why?
Like,
what'd you do?
So like I don't know. I had like weird spending habits, and also just
like money, blow cash.
Yeah, but
that is a mania thing, right? Like
that's kind of like a
manic
symptom.
thing.
But
Yeah.
I was like, I had this like Nissan Altima '93, and I was really big into playing Need for Speed. And like one night on a whim, I bought like decals for the side of the car, but I hadn't put like a body kit on, and I didn't get them professionally put on. So it's like this like dark gray Nissan Altima with like a big like tribal
Where's the pick?
vinyl on the side, on both sides. It looks ridiculous, but in my head I was like, this is awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
I got like underglow for the car too.
And you're 18, so it's like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
and all my friends, oh, what did you do to your car? And I get the weirdest looks
Dude,
at intersections. Like, what is this? Because it didn't look like a custom like anything. It was just a regular Nissan Altima.
Like a Hot Wheels.
Yeah, with a goofy sticker on the side.
So it's fucking wild.
Yeah.
So, now fast forward to college, St. Paul. You're telling your dad about the meaning of life.
I was at DePaul in Chicago.
Oh, DePaul in Chicago.
Yeah.
I thought you went to Minnesota.
I did, yeah. So I was at DePaul. I was like sophomore year. Told my dad, he flew me back to Minnesota, and this is how delusional I was. My parents took me to what I thought was like a rock star training camp because I thought I would be like some famous. I'm like, okay, I got to figure it out now. Let's, where's my reward? And and they took me. I thought it was some rock star training camp. I'm signing in. It was a psych ward, and I know.
Oh my god!
It's like intervention or something.
Yeah,
almost.
but I had no idea that I was signing myself into this hospital.
Wow.
And I'm around all these other patients.
Were you suicidal or anything?
Not initially. I was just manic. I was like riding this high of like, oh, I figured it all out, but like it didn't figure anything out. I'm just, it's a manic episode. And I was in there for like a week, and they, gave me meds, and eventually the episode kind of like peaked out. And when I realized like, oh yeah, this is a hospital. Like I was able, because of good behavior, I was able to kind of get out of the hospital. They wanted to keep me in there for like 3 weeks, but after a week and like talking to doctors, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And
so what were they teaching you through this when you're learning about your bipolarness? Is it bipolarness?
Yeah, bipolar one.
What are they taught? What questions are they asking you to like try to diagnose you? Like, what is like all that stuff that they're like focusing in on in that week of analyzing you?
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like honestly, a lot of times if I had an episode, I'd kind of like black out. Like I wouldn't be able to recall it later.
Oh shit!
Yeah, like certain bits, I could get like bits and pieces of it, but yeah, like I've had episodes where like a whole month will go by and I just won't, I'll have to be like told later, like, oh, well, this is what happened. And then it's like, and then because it's an episode and because I'm aware of bipolar, I'm like, man, am I being gaslit right now? I don't remember this at the time. So like, but I think that a lot of the times, because when I was in it, as far as breaking down, basically having a mental breakdown, but you breaking down like my whole perception of society and that kind of thing and reality in life, and you break it all down, and then you're trying to communicate that, and rather than somebody telling you like, oh, this isn't how, rather than them trying to figure out what you're saying, they analyze you based on how you're saying and what you're saying.
Oh, like your tone.
Yeah,
how
tone,
you're approaching
energy.
it. Like,
and your energy and that kind of thing.
They put you on meds?
Yeah.
Like, what do you take, an antidepressant or? What is it?
Well, it was, at first it was like, man, I was taking 6 pills twice a day. And so I was taking, I took, lithium is kind of like,
that's like the main one, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like the tried and true.
So what, name all 6 pills?
So
Tylenol PM.
Yeah.
Could you sleep?
Yeah, that was also tricky. In the episodes, you couldn't really sleep. Like I'd be up for like
days.
Like 72 hours, just like straight.
Have you talked about this before?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
but
let me know if I'm pushing you too much.
No. So I feel like too. That's another thing is like people will say, "Oh, you're so brave about talking," but it's like if we don't have these conversations, it's never gonna
Right.
heal. It's gonna be this background
It also
thing, and
like takes the stigma off it a little bit too.
yeah, I think that and that's what helps a lot of there's like discussions about mental health awareness, but no one to come out and say what it is.
So tell me this cocktail of pills you were taking at first.
So I was lithium was kind of like the baseline. It's like a mood stabilizer. Makes you very like lethargic and kind of like you don't care.
Right.
Like if you were like when I started having like the downward, like the suicidal thoughts, lithium was the one that's like, man, I do it, but it's a lot of work. Like, yeah.
So lithium's just kind of like defeats your fire.
It
just burns your fire.
Exactly.
Or not burns it, like waters down your fire.
Waters it down, yeah.
But on both sides, though, the manic side and the depressive side.
And the depressive side. I just I was like glued to the couch. I was just.
Were you a zombie?
Yeah, I'd say so.
6 pills is a lot. What else were you taking? Lithium?
I was taking Depakote.
What's that?
I just remember the name of it.
Okay.
But that was.
Google it, fans, if you don't.
Probably an
Depakote.
antidepressant.
I wasn't really big on antidepressants.
Yeah?
I mean, I took Wellbutrin, which I guess is kind of one.
People take that to quit smoking too, don't they?
That's what I had heard.
Yeah.
And it actually did kind of curb my cravings.
Yeah, there's something with it in smoking.
Yeah.
You were smoking a pack of cigarettes a night and shit
like
too?
a pack and a half. Like just,
holy
just
shit.
Like back to
so
back.
jealous.
I know, that sounds awesome. I want to smoke cigarettes. I'm going to take lithium so I can smoke 12 packs of cigarettes a day.
Basically.
I love cigarettes.
So I took that. I took Risperidone. I tried Abilify for a little bit. That gave me akathisia, where it's basically that was one of the first ones they put me on was Abilify, and that made me real restless. It's like restless leg syndrome, but for your whole body.
I hate that's my biggest fear is the restless knees.
Yeah, but like it was like my whole body, like my hands and everything. So they took me off of that right away. Risperdal helped me a lot. Lamotrigine was great.
Holy shit.
But
I feel like I'm taking a Latin class right
now. But yeah.
How many months were you on 6 pills? Or weeks?
I can't remember. It was probably at least 6 to 8 months the first time.
Damn.
Like after my first episode. Because when I had my first episode, I didn't know, like, you're really just trying to get it under control.
Right.
And so they would give me, they just throw pills at it. And then you dial it back to be like, okay, like
how your body's handling.
It's like the spaghetti. It's like the spaghetti method. You see what sticks and what doesn't work.
That's so fucking weird how they do that. There's no scientific
because everybody's different.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing too, which is like they gave me an MRI, to make sure it wasn't anything else, and nothing really weird popped up on the MRI.
Oh, like brain tumor or something.
They put you in the machine,
right?
And but I remember when they put me in the machine, they were like, "You want to listen to a radio station?" I put on like. Just a pop radio station. So I'm like in the machine and "Party Like a Rock Star" is playing like as they're scanning. Yeah, as they're scanning my brain, it's like "Party Like a Rock, Party."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the thing that always tripped me up is that there's no scan.
Well,
I'm manic.
Yeah.
I'm depressed.
Andy think you're a rock star in that moment.
Yeah,
like you're still in the rock star. So I was like, it probably confirmed you a little bit. You're like, maybe God, it's all true.
Everything, and that's another. When you're manic, everything feels like it's all connected. There's some hidden meaning behind it. It's all connected.
Yeah.
Like every little interaction. Like you go to a corner store.
Man, that made
Were you still manic through this MRI process?
Yeah,
and all this
I'd
stuff?
say I was still manic. I think being in the hospital had kind of like dialed back the manic episode. Then when I got out, like a big part of my episode was that even though my family and doctors were saying like, no, this is a disease, I didn't want to let go of what I had experienced. Like there's a part of me that had to be like, no, I was right. Like there's something about the experience that like, no, I was onto something, and letting go of that, like kind of letting go, like, no, it's like, it's an illness, and it was your mind playing tricks on you. That was really tough because
were you scared?
Yeah, I'd say at points, I think that first episode was really tough to dial in and come to terms with. And then the second episode was
When was that?
more. That was like so then when I got home, I worked a job, then I went to the U of M. I got re-enrolled in school, but went to the University
That's
of
close to
Minnesota.
home, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
So you're like, you're home, you're kind of near
It's
your
right in
family.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
It's like right in town in Minneapolis.
Yeah, the Minneapolis campus.
Were you writing music yet?
Yeah, I'd been making beats like basically since I was 13, like, and I was always doing that in the background. There's like old records, like maybe when I was Manic.
Yeah, that's what I was
just
like.
me.
Yeah. Like, have you re-listened to those Manic
It's
records?
painful. Yeah. It's
Like, what is it? What is the
it's
music
just
like?
you know, like because there's like the God complex that
Yeah.
kind of
Right.
came with my episode, so it's like
Plus,
thought
you
it
just
was-
weren't as good, probably. I mean,
Yeah, no, it was terrible. There was
Right.
the mix was bad, but all
Right.
the raps were very like
Oh,
biblical ass.
What is the universe?
Man,
Yeah.
this kind of makes you know how you're saying like the whole everything's connected thing. I wonder, like, this made me kind of think like these conspiracy theorists. I wonder how many of them are like undiagnosed manic. Some of them, like, you know, these people that are like everything's the Illuminati, everything's connected. I wonder if like some of
That's
there's
a good point.
I wonder if there's a connection between like people not getting like help they need and that. I don't know.
Yeah.
There could be though.
What was the craziest theory you were convinced was true when you were manic?
Oh man, it's tough to say. I think there's because I did like drift towards conspiracy theories.
It does
Like,
beg.
You do
like,
kind of
yeah.
drift towards these really wild theories of like,
It begs for it.
oh,
almost,
you
yeah.
know, this happened. Like, I don't know, I had some weird conspiracies about like Biggie and Tupac's murders.
Oh
and,
man.
like, oh, Diddy did it, and all this like.
Called your
random-
dad from college.
Yeah.
Dude, did you know about this Diddy?
I had a
not the
before I
wildest.
went home. I had this class. I had to give a presentation, and the slides and everything were just terrible. Like it didn't make any sense at all.
Right.
And
you were
I-
manic at the time.
Yeah, when I was working on it, it was like the project that I had to turn in
Oh, no.
right before my dad pulled me out of school, and it was a
Oh.
group project with two other guys.
They're like,
and they were like, and I go to class to like put the thing in and like pull up the slides, and they just wouldn't pull up. And that kind of shit happened a lot too, where it's like you get these little instances where like, you know, you're supposed to do something, and what the universe is just like no. And then it like ramps up your mania because you're
Yeah.
like, oh no, this was
Some guy
oh, I
did that.
get it,
Yeah, yeah,
this
right.
wasn't meant to be. And
Right.
it was like, you know, and
FBI.
those little things. I feel like you get this weird heightened sense of what's going on. It's not necessarily true. It makes it really hard to dismiss little moments.
When you're going through your manic episode, was it hard to accept people loving you? Like, was it hard for like your mom? Like, I love you. You're safe. And you just couldn't see it, or
No,
was that not a problem?
My episodes actually did have a lot of like kind of love and like that as a theme.
Uh-huh.
I think other instances there is like a paranoia that comes with it of like
Like you're alone or something.
yeah, or like, you know, it's tough to believe what's going on. So
Right.
you kind of get in this defense fight or flight mode of like, no, they're not.
Right.
Like I'm being gaslit. Like,
Yeah.
And that's another thing. A lot of episodes, it can kind of feel like everyone is in on some,
Against you.
not necessarily against you, but like
They're just working together. And
they're working together and
It's like you're the main
to like
character.
hide something. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's
You're the main character of the whole world almost, or something.
Yeah, and it feels like too, like you're, like at times it felt like I'm on some like super elaborate alien reality show, and I
Right.
just have to find this thing that will like pop open the matrix, and
Like
then-
Truman Show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
Can I hold your hand? Oh my God, bro! Why haven't we been friends yet?
You didn't meet.
Now we are.
Yeah,
J-Mac, this is wild. So you just live with this
yeah.
still?
Yeah, I mean, it's in the background. I think I'm coming to terms with the idea that like,
Right.
yeah, it's my mind, it's playing tricks on me.
Right.
Right.
And being aware of that has been really helpful. And
Did therapy teach you that?
yeah, so I didn't really take to therapy as much.
Uh-huh.
I did psychiatry I took to, and I had a really great psychiatrist in Minnesota who was an older guy, and he had just like a lot of experience in the field. Like,
Yeah.
and he was really great as far as my sessions
Mhm.
because it was therapy, but it was more on on
Like
a
psychiatry, yeah.
side. It was more on
medical.
Because you're on pills and
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
kind of studying your brain on all these fucking
brain chemistry.
Yeah, and
Chemical
at times
imbalance.
I would get kind of frustrated with him because I'd be saying things and I'd be like, "Oh, he's not really like listening or helping me process." But he was just observing and kind of being a little more dismissive of the content of what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
That was more like abstract. He'd be like, "How are you feeling?"
Yeah.
And like, how can we get this under control? As opposed to like,
Right.
well, what do you mean by your Jesus? And like, you know,
Right.
what do you mean you're John the Baptist? Like with all that kind
He's
of
going to
yes,
the source.
Psychiatry is like, it's all like formula. Like,
It's almost like psychiatry treats the whatever condition, disease, whatever, and therapy treats the symptoms.
Yeah.
Or therapy's your friend. Like,
Yeah.
She's like your homie.
Yeah, but it's
he's
like
your homie.
Yeah, it treats the symptoms. You know,
Holy shit.
like
okay.
antibiotics versus a soothing cream. You know what I mean? Yeah.
We'll talk about the music soon, I promise.
Yeah,
but
that's
I
all
am
good.
very fascinated with this. When did you feel like you were ready to go back to Chicago? When you felt like you had your brain under control?
I'd
in
say
Minnesota?
it was after. So I have after my second episode. So I went to the University of Minnesota. I was full-time student, first semester in, like a month and a half in, had a second episode. So then I had to drop out
No
and
shit.
got a job. And
What
then
happened the second episode?
It was a lot more. Usually, episodes. I guess my doctor, from what I had read and heard, is that episodes get worse over time. But my second one, because of whatever reason, I had like recognized it.
Oh yeah.
The second one was a lot easier to manage.
Okay.
than the first one, so I wasn't hospitalized, and it was like I was real coherent as far as what was going on. I still had a lot of like the feelings and like the
Right.
like, oh, I'm on the Truman Show. Like, okay, thing is happening.
You're more
whatever.
self-aware of them. Maybe?
Yeah, I was more aware. So dialing it in was easier. I still had to drop out of school, and holding a job was tough. But once we had that dialed in, I went back to school part-time, and I was working 2 jobs. I was
At DePaul?
Oh no, in Minnesota,
Minnesota,
University of Minnesota. I was working at the TCF Bank Stadium. I don't know if it's that anymore. It's
Vikings.
the Gophers.
Oh, the
Minnesota
Gophers. Yeah.
Stadium. I was working there as like a building supervisor, basically like a janitor, and and then I was doing tech services for the Gophers.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was that was really.
So you've always been good at computers.
Yeah, I've always been. Yeah,
You seem like you might be kind of really smart, huh?
Yeah.
I'm all right.
I'm getting the vibe. You're like, yeah, college. I didn't go when I got.
I had
I
a
barely
great-
studied, but I got all A's.
And
no
DePaul's like a
problem.
really good school, by the way.
Yeah.
Like it's a really good school.
Yeah,
You don't just like go to DePaul.
Yeah.
But I had 1 semester left, and that's when like my college roommates at the time. I was living in a big house, and like we had 4 roommates, and they were all like, let's go to the first North Coast, and then let's go to Bella Music Festival in Minnesota.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, and so they took me to those, and I was like hooked. And so I was like making music. I had to set up like the stats ticker for like the stats people at hockey and basketball events. They need like a computer.
Oh, so like the live box score.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would set up the computer to do that, and then I would take it down. But that's all. That was a lot of the job. Like
a lot of
on
coding
games,
and
I would do
shit.
that, and then like during the week, it was like a call desk. Like coaches would call and be like, "All right, I have a virus," and so.
Oh, okay.
But
I
yeah.
downloaded porn on my work computer
basically,
again.
and then I'd have to wipe the whole computer and give it
Stop
back
using
to them.
Mozilla Firefox.
Yeah.
So keep going with this second
So-
episode.
Yeah, so yeah, the episode, I'm like getting back on my feet. It was easier to manage. I'm getting back on my feet, and I went to these festivals. I had kind of like I was going part time. The second episode wasn't nearly as bad.
Yeah.
But it had happened, and I was still paranoid and had all this kind of stuff. But the music, getting into Ableton and like, getting kind of upgrading my gear. So I was on really old gear. I was on a MPC 1000 and a Yamaha S80.
That's old school.
Yeah,
Damn.
and I had an EMAC. So
Those
I was
are-
using like
The 1000 was dope though, actually.
Oh yeah, it's still the beast.
Still
yeah.
a beast, yeah.
J-Mac rocking the EMAC.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
I'll clap to that. Let's go. I like that. That's got a ring to it. That's got a ring to it.
I'll clap for my own line. I'll clap for my own joke. Yeah.
But yeah, so I got the second episode under control. I was working 2 jobs and going to school, and went to some festivals and was hooked. So I started making beats, was sending them to my brother who was still at DePaul
Okay.
in Chicago.
He stayed.
So he stayed in Chicago, and then he graduated, and I was like one semester left, but I had two. I couldn't get all the credits in one season.
Right.
It was like two half.
Oh, right.
So it would have been 2 semesters of half credits.
Right.
Wow.
And so I would have either had to wait a year or like drop out with like 1 semester's worth of credits left and just go for it. And
Was your mom pissed? Parents pissed that you dropped
my mom
out?
was upset. My dad was kind of like, he was a little more like,
You can always go back.
go for it. Like he was a little more. My mom was hesitant.
Yeah.
And so then I'm moving with Joe to Chicago because Chicago just had a stronger. It's a bigger market.
Yeah,
It was really popping around then too. Like
Because
2011.
Minnesota does have a dope music scene.
Hell yeah.
They got all those great rooms in St. Paul,
First Avenue.
First Ave,
Ave.
Turf Club.
Yeah.
Just the
But
whole Prince.
Chicago is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Chicago was it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Twin Cities is a really strong kind of like
Funk.
indie rock. It's got a
Yeah.
funk scene. It's got a
Folk scene.
hip hop,
Hip-hop, too.
folk scene. The EDM scene was just not.
And Chicago
there.
literally was like top 2 or 3 at that.
Did you like ever
Yeah.
go with like Rhyme Sayers or any of those guys
I
or
was
like
a
Atmosphere?
huge fan, but
Yeah. Never met them?
Fan. I've met I had met Slug and Ant because I had done some of the Pretty Lights episodic shows.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And
right.
They opened for him, so I met him there, and I met him at like a fan meet and greet. But DJ, I was a big fan of Idea and Abilities. Rest in peace, Idea. He was one of my favorites, and I actually gotten kind of close with Abilities, DJ Abilities.
Yeah.
I saw him recently, actually in Milwaukee.
Oh,
yeah.
But yeah, he's really dope. He's
So-
got a new album too. That's
That's
like
dope.
he's doing like independent kind of electronic hip hop stuff.
So you moved back to Chicago. You're
Yeah.
probably your mom's worried sick. Like
Yeah.
you're hanging out with your brother.
Yeah.
Your brother's in college. You guys are just gonna be fucking partying.
Well, Joe had
Your mom's
just
so sweet,
Joe
too.
had just graduated.
Okay.
So he was looking for
Okay.
jobs,
Okay.
and he thought like this was like
15% of a brand new DJ. That's a good job.
He's like, bro, come to my house. I'll manage you.
yeah.
Okay, this is so wild. So, what is Joe going through when he's like because that's like your best friend in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So when you're going through these manic, like, did you have Joe by your side, like helping you out through?
And that
all
was
this
one of
things?
the big things with my parents as far as pursuing it was that like if I was gonna do it and I was gonna go off and actually do it, having Joe kind of be a little bit of a caretaker or at least being like a liaison between me and my parents as far as keeping them posted.
Right.
That eased their mind and kind of made it more I was more accessible. It was I wouldn't have been able to just kind of fly to Chicago on my own and do this. Like, they would not have been supportive.
Right.
Of that.
Yeah. He's like, hey, mom,
Yeah.
I'm back. Yeah, that'd be
I'm king of the
wild.
world again, and I'm moving to Chicago.
Yeah.
So you moved to Chicago.
Yeah.
I also want to talk about you being interested in magic, but we'll talk about that in a second because I'm very fascinated with magic as well. I love David Copperfield. I love the fucking guy. All right, so you moved to Chicago. Was Manic Focus a thing yet?
No.
So you're just making beats and figuring out who you are, like identity.
We had launched like online. I had a SoundCloud and stuff, and we had a couple remixes, but nothing had really like stuck yet.
Right.
I had only been doing it as Manic Focus for like 3 months.
What
or
an
6
honest
months.
name, too. Manic
Yeah.
Focus. My man is Manic.
Yeah, I honestly didn't like the name at first. I
Really?
heard it.
Why? Was it like you felt like you're making fun of yourself?
Yeah, I didn't like the idea of like just putting Manic in it. Like,
Oh,
I
like
felt
you're like kind of like promoting an illness? or-
because of my experience with Manic episodes.
Oh, you
initially,
hated it.
Yeah, well, initially, and then I saw the logo. Like my brother's like, no, hear me out. I'm like, man, Manic, I don't know. And then I saw the logo, and I'm like, all right, yeah, I could do this. Plus, it also was a name that like you could Google it, and we would be the first.
Right.
thing.
Sick.
It's phonetic, and we could lock down the .com and the email. And all
Man,
that
Joe
stuff,
is
so.
a smart motherfucker,
Yeah.
dude.
It's better than most DJs.
And he was always on the grind on the internet, like in different like chat rooms. There was what was it called? Turntable FM.
Oh yeah,
You know, where you have
I remember that.
the little avatars and like
Yeah.
head bobs. So he was in that all day playing my
So
stuff.
did you feel like you're getting your brain, you were healing your brain when you moved back to Chicago and lived with your brother? Or was it still kind of like iffy, like you're still going up and down? And
I think it was still up and down. I think a big thing with episodes is it can kind of like pump your ego a little bit.
Oh.
So like, and then he would be there to kind of like pop the balloon, like deflate it.
Yeah.
Be like, no, back to earth. Like,
This Nick Gerlach for me, bud. Maybe I am manic.
No.
Okay.
no, it's but like it.
Bop.
But yeah, he was getting. He would always kind of reel me back in, and he'd also, if ever I was kind of drifting musically into something a little too weird, he would reel that back in too.
Oh, like tell me, give me those moments. Like what? Like you started bringing like a didgeridoo into the music.
Well, exactly. Like just if I was doing something a little too strange or like it was just mix wise, it didn't sound good. It's good to have a sounding board because if me being by myself and not really like with a band or anybody else, you know, I'm just like either in my headphones or like on my speakers, but like it's just a feedback loop of like me making beats and like huffing your own farts. Like, oh, this is great.
And he's not a musician, which is sort of sometimes better feedback.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got a great taste in music in general. I think,
and he's your bro. Like he could not like sugarcoat the bullshit. He's like, bro, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Or,
you just wasted 3 days of your life.
If he really liked it, then that's like cool. So like not only do I like it, but he likes it. And there've been a lot of songs too that he's actually like reeled in. Like On the Horizon, which is one of my bigger ones. That song, I had made that and he loved it, and then I kept going with it and kept adding things, and then he was so upset. He was like, "No, what are you doing? This is like way far."
Oh, right.
Like I liked it 5 iterations ago. So then I reeled it back in, and he was like, "Oh my god, thank you." Like this is.
So you listen to Joe?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
For sure.
So what was your first big break?
I'd say This Song Is Sick. Really, like my
it's
brother,
called This Song Is Sick.
The website.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They used to
you wrote a song called This Song Is Sick.
Oh no, so
that'd be awesome.
So yeah, this website. My brother was in the Turntable FM, the little like I think that's what it's called.
I think so too.
It's with the little avatar. It's like basically a chat room.
It's gone now.
Yeah, they brought it back, but I don't.
That never works.
But there was a strong community there, and thissongissick.com.
Yeah.
I guess,
which was here, I think.
Yeah, it's based here. Nick Garino was in one of the chat rooms and had hosted one. And my brother had been spending so much time in these chat rooms, like developing a community.
Yeah,
right.
He was on stage playing songs, and he got, like my brother, there were 4 people in there that were like diehard Manic Focus fans, and they would play my songs back to back, and Nick is in there listening, like, what is this? And then we had sent him remixes, and he started posting on the website.
And that was like a period where if that website could really pop you off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like I know 2013. Big Gigantic and Grizz were both
huge on
in
that.
his camp, and huge on that. And so Nick he was really the guy that kind of broke the catalyst, and really like he introduced me to Grizz and Big G.
Yep.
And then Big G put me on.
You did that whole tour with him, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, before they put me on New Year's in Chicago.
Oh.
It was New Year's 2012 it was Big Gigantic. No, at the next year they did Aragon.
Oh, cool.
It was Big G, Grizz, and then me opening.
Shit.
Yeah.
What a fucking lineup, dude.
Yeah. And then Big G put me on the winter tour where it was me and Joe in a car following the bus. And it was like 12 shows in 13 days. And then
you drive with them at night?
Yeah, well, like we did like the first show, and we'd hang out on the bus, and then
time to go.
Joe and I would drive, and we'd like get a hotel or sleep in a car, or sleep at a random fan's house, and then
fucking awesome.
Just drove the whole way.
Thanks for letting us on the bus, guys.
Yeah.
Well, then they eventually a year later, I was on the bus with them.
Right.
Because
that's the thing where they do that in the EDM world. They'll like take their openers on the bus with them.
Yeah. Well, and I think too though they had Big G had taught me so much.
Oh yeah.
But they did the same thing with Sound Tribe.
Yep.
So like they followed the bus, and to me, I think they were just like, one, they didn't have room on the bus. I was third support.
Oh, okay.
And then 2, it was just like, well, you know, if I can do this part, it's like the paying the dues part, and like really stick with it, like this would kind of determine like if I was cut out for it.
And it's fun to look back on that, honestly. Those things are
absolutely.
I'm glad I did weird, dumb stuff like that. Yeah.
And it was about like Joe and I were both on it together, and so we were driving all the shows, and
it's good.
That was kind of like and then that summer, like I'd gotten an agent, and I had gotten some festivals that summer, and then
So we met Berg.
Yeah, I'd met Berg right around that time, and then fall I did a Grizz tour, and then which was just me, Grizz, and a tour manager in a rental car.
Oh.
How big were the venues?
Yeah, I think the biggest show we did was Webster Hall.
Holy shit,
that's big, right?
Huge. Yeah. It's like 1,500 cap.
I thought it was like 3, maybe.
But that was the first show, and then the rest of them were all pretty small.
This is when Grizz was
gigs.
still on the come up, kind of.
Yeah,
like 14,
I think he
15?
he graduated to a bus like the next year.
It's like 14 or 15. Probably?
This was 13.
Okay,
or 12.
What keeps you inspired to keep growing your music and keep thinking differently about how to adjust your set and how to adjust like your music so you don't feel like you're just playing the same shit all the time?
Man, I'd say as far as like sets go and playing different sets, just watching other people play sets and like seeing how other musicians design their sets, that helps a lot.
You
like
do go to a lot of people's shows, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Well, I want more than almost anyone I know. I'll notice that you'll be at like another guy's show.
Yeah.
Your TikTok's my favorite TikTok.
Oh yeah,
your like day in the life.
Yeah,
with Manic Focus is fucking hilarious.
I went to see a DJ. Look at the lights.
Like, yeah, you're at Red Rocks. I love that.
The narration.
You got to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I want to do like I need to reinvent it a little bit because I think I stopped saying like hi, I'm a DJ. Now it's like hi, I'm John. And but I do like that format, like the John,
it's really cool.
John Wilson how-to kind of.
Yeah. And it just shows like how good of a dude you are. You're not just like sniffing your own ass. Like you really do support. You really do support your voice.
You go to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and I do love seeing that, like seeing guys that I've toured with in the past or homies on festivals, like just crushing it. But seeing how they've evolved their sets, I think kind of keeps me on my toes and really like thinking differently about, because like my sets used to be, I would in an hour play like maybe 20 songs. Like I'd play a song for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And now I'll play a song for like 30 seconds or a minute. My sets are like real fast. Like when I had done a whole tour with Liquid Stranger like in 2018, I think. And
you signed to his label, right?
Kind of. Like I had a release on it. Yeah. Cool. But watching him, like
is he big?
He's pretty big. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time too, but now he's finally kind of getting his.
I mean, he'll play like First Bank.
Holy shit! Really?
I think he played First Bank. Or
he did 3 nights at Mission, then he sold out.
Oh, that's right. But
that's fucking 15,000 tickets.
Yeah, 3 nights.
He's doing his first Wakan Red Rocks coming up.
It's so crazy how sneaky.
The music industry is much bigger than people think.
Oh my God. I was just talking, who was I talking to? Oh, Hutch, my buddy Hutch.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you know Andy Westby? Shoregasm?
I think so.
From Chicago?
Yeah.
He says hello.
Nice.
He's like best friends with Berg. He said he was raving about you. But it was like so funny, like all these bands I never heard of are like Subtronic.
Oh yeah,
he's huge.
Killing it. Yeah.
All these cats. I'm
it's
like
way bigger than people realize.
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm glad you're fucking in this shit, dude. Go keep
bluegrass
fighting.
bands selling tickets I never heard of. It's on the other side too.
That's true.
The one world that blows my mind that I don't know anything about is country world.
Dude, I know.
Like, I can name like maybe 2 country
and
acts.
they sell CDs even.
Who's
the guy that said the N-word?
Oh, Morgan Wallen?
Oh, yeah, I know him.
He's huge.
Yeah.
There's got to be like at least 30 acts that can sell out.
Probably
arenas.
most of them, honestly. You mean the one that got caught?
I know Hootie and the Blowfish is in the country scene, too.
Yeah, Darius Rucker. Hell yeah.
All right. Here
Magic.
We go. I can't wait for this.
This is the only reason.
Why Magic?
So I don't know. I was like, when I was real little, like 8, 7 or 8, the Mall of America had just opened in Minnesota. and I went.
Mighty Ducks.
Was it just like an
Mighty Ducks.
overwhelming thing to see a fucking huge ass mall like that in your town?
Especially one with a theme park in the middle of it.
You're like, what? This is Minnesota.
You go there and it's just like Camp Snoopy. You go on the rides and I'm like, I never want to leave. But they had a magic shop there, and I was like hooked because if you go to a good magic shop, like there's a guy there and they're always trying to sell you stuff, but they'll show you trick after trick until you buy something, and or they'll gauge that you're not going to buy anything and they'll just stop. But like, I was hooked as a kid, and then like later, like my mom, when I was for like my 13th birthday, went into that magic shop and was like, hey, can my son work here for a day? It's his birthday. So I worked there for a day.
That's awesome.
And then when I was like 18, I went back there and got a job there.
Like I've already got experience.
Yeah. But like I
One
got a
day.
job. And the cool thing too about like working at a magic shop, especially one at a high traffic area like Mall of America, is that you get to practice so much. Because the big tricky thing about practicing magic is like you learn a new trick, and then who do you show? You show like your friends. Yeah. But if you screw up, then it's like, all right, well, I got to burn that, or like find new people to do it on. But the Mall of America, I was able to get so much practice because somebody'd come in, show them a trick, and I'd perform for like 40 to 50 people a day, or 50 groups of people.
So it's not a hobby; it's like an art form for you.
Oh, absolutely! I love it. It's just like really like.
It should be a VIP set at summer camp.
Oh my God! You should be doing that pre-show every tour, like magic.
I just like but I like the close-up stuff. Yeah. I like the stuff where it's like at a party, and like you pick up a deck of cards off a table, has a little bit of beer on it, and it's just like messed up, and you just mess with people. Like I like it. I like playing to smaller crowds, and so trying to work that into like a stage show or something bigger can be real tricky.
Especially when people are like, you're at a party and everyone's all fucked up, and you're like, watch this. Like,
so high! Yeah. Give me a balloon. Some of the stuff you get away with with that in those settings is wild.
What is your opus trick?
Make your tour manager disappear.
I don't know if I have an opus. I just have like.
He's got the cards. He's got them.
There's like, here, you can open them. There's like a.
Oh, and they're fresh. So you're gonna
do a magic trick for us?
I can.
Oh my God.
The listeners.
It's video.
They'll have to get. Oh yeah.
Check on volume.com if you want to watch this magic trick.
I love that they're unopened, proving that they're not tampered with before he brought them.
I like how you gave them to me too, saying I did not fuck with these. Wow. Yeah. How many like deck of cards do you have to have for people to not think you're full of shit?
I have a
open
lot.
one. Everyone's open one.
I had just moved recently, and Kaylee, she was packing up some of my magic stuff and had a whole big box of cards. She's like, these are just cards, just decks of cards. Most of them are, all like loose cards or.
What other magic kind of like tools do you have?
I like, I have like a couple like gimmick things, but I mostly like cards are. Kind of
your
like,
thing.
Yeah. I've been trying to do more like coin and small. You can mix them up and take all this stuff out.
Shuffle it, baby.
I've been trying to do more coin and like small object like manipulation. That stuff is way harder.
It is?
Just because like, if it's not in one hand, it's in the other. So how do you like
I'm so nervous right now.
Stuff.
I love magic. My grandmother used to take me to David Copperfield like once a month.
Isn't he like a weirdo?
Yeah. I lived in LA, so Vegas was right there.
Wow.
He's a little bit of weirdo, but he was such a great magician.
But what was his thing? He was like taking girls to some weird island or something?
I don't want to talk about that, man.
Why?
Because I love his magic.
I'm not taking anything away.
I heard that he would do like 400 shows a year.
Yeah, he was a workaholic.
He's probably so rich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like a billionaire magician.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Have you ever seen Darren Brown?
No.
He's my favorite. This dude is like a British guy. You should check him out on Netflix. Darren Brown. He does a lot more like kind of mentalism and stuff. But some of his Netflix specials, holy shit, they're wild.
There was a guy on Hulu I watched that was super cool that did something real mentalist like that, where it's like,
what about
it's all part of it?
Eric Gaines.
Oh no,
who's Garth Brooks' alter ego?
Oh, Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines. He's like a magician.
No bad mouthing David Copperfield around Andy.
That's it.
Or Kobe, if you know what I mean.
Hey, calm it down.
Seeing a common theme amongst all your favorite heroes.
They're not all rapists. Shut the fuck up.
Not all, just Kobe.
You said David Copperfield was a rapist.
No, I know, but he had something where he just had some island where he was taking women. I mean, who doesn't? Who wouldn't if they could?
Okay, we're not talking about this.
Who wouldn't have an island?
This is about J-Mac. It's not about my.
Well, maybe they were going. I don't know. Maybe they wanted to go. I don't know the details.
All right,
Google it.
J-Mac, don't let him fucking convince you out of this.
What? I'm not doing anything. I'm just talking about David Copperfield.
I know. I just wanted to say that.
I just like how it's making you uncomfortable. So we had an island.
I don't know how to shuffle, so but I did it a little.
I noticed that you didn't. I can do it a little.
Yeah, will you shovel? Yeah. Okay, so what is this trick called?
So here's the thing. It's like at a certain point, I stopped learning real like
Ooh, that was good.
tricks.
I haven't done it in a while.
I stopped learning tricks, and you start learning like moves.
Okay.
So
What do you mean? Explain
So
that.
like, there's a lot of like magic routines and tricks, and you know you can buy books and stuff. And it's like here's this trick, and they all have names. But at a certain point, you learn different sleight of hand stuff.
Yeah.
So you learn different ways to present cards and find cards and stuff like and control cards. And then you can just kind of jam. You can just make things up as
Cool.
you go. And like that's kind of more like what I like to do. I'm a little rusty. Like over COVID, like the quarantine, I had like gotten. I was like, I got, everybody was picking up hobbies.
Yeah.
And so I got way back into it and started buying like books and
That's
and
awesome.
videos
Did you ever
and
do
stuff
like
that.
magic live streams?
No, it's tricky for
They could
especially
just-
like my magic to translate on video. Like there are certainly like video things you can do.
You're not like sawing a chick in half.
No,
or none of that shit. Okay.
Like I can
Sawing
do
his brother in half.
But the thing, and actually YouTube really like kind of crippled the magic community for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like
Oh, yeah.
kids would just go on and reveal secrets, and that made it really
Oh.
tough. Because a big part of magic is like you're presenting a trick, and you're playing with somebody's memory of the events that happened.
Right.
And so
Wow.
when you used to before YouTube, you show somebody a trick, and then they'd go home and it would still be in their head. And then, I would show somebody a trick and then months later see them and they would tell me what happened. And it totally
Fucked it up.
It was abstract. It
Yeah.
sounded way doper than what I actually did.
Dude, he put flames over the
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
car.
right,
It's
right.
fucking nuts, bro.
So I love that.
back to life.
I love like playing with somebody's memory. Here you can
Okay.
pick
Ooh,
anyone
cool.
you want.
Pick a card, any card.
Close your eyes, J Mac. I don't want no
Close
cheating.
your eyes.
Okay, here we go.
All right. You got
He doesn't
it?
need to cheat. He's magic.
I'll show.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't even know. This is fun.
All
There we
right.
go. Perfect. All right.
All right. Say stop whenever you want.
Stop.
Right there?
Yeah.
All right. You can put it right there.
Okay.
All right. You got it too, right?
Yep.
All right. Cool.
What if I just said it?
It's in there. You want to give it a cut?
Yeah, sure. Right here?
Yeah. And you put it here.
Okay.
You want to cut it again or?
Yeah, I don't trust you.
Ooh, after all the talk he just had about his whole life. I don't know about you, man.
I don't know about you, man.
I don't know about all this, man. Can I open for you sometime?
Yeah. It's somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if. All right.
No.
Okay. So we were talking about. Here, let me see your hands.
Okay.
Are you right or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
You're right-handed.
Yeah.
You put your left hand on top of the two.
Okay.
All right. Like make sure it's there.
Okay. That's
All right,
it.
don't let go of it. All right. Now, Nick, whenever you want, say stop.
Stop.
Right there.
Mhm.
You can keep going if you want.
That's good.
All right. So it's a 1 in what chance that you landed on Andy's card?
There's 2 jokers, too, so there's 53.
Did you take the jokers out?
No.
Oh, you didn't.
So
So
there's
there's 54 cards.
Yeah, so 53. 1 in 53,
Yeah.
right?
Because
Yeah.
he's got.
Because you subtract 1.
He's got the 2.
Why are you
right?
surprised I did that?
He's got the 1.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so it'd be cool if you stopped on his 1 in 53.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy, right? If you stopped on his card. But what if it make it a little crazier? I could take it and switch it with the 2.
Wait, what?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Ah!
Yo!
Whoa!
How did that even happen?
You're the devil!
You're the devil.
You're Satan!
Yeah.
No, I like how he made it look like he did it wrong at first, and then he flipped the script on you.
Yo, he got my card. He's.
But then he
Wow.
made me stop on the card, the other card that was the one that was wrong the first time he gave it to you. So it's like 2 tricks.
Yo, fuck music, bro. This is what you need to be doing. This is amazing. I love magic. Oh, I love magic so much.
That was insane.
J-Mac. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think this is top 5 interview.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank- top
you
5.
so much.
Thank you, buddy. So you got any new music coming out? Do you have anything to promote?
Yeah, so I have my album I just dropped called Never Not Blue.
Fuck yeah.
We dropped that.
Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's actually probably one of my more personal albums where I actually talk about mental health. And
Good.
the whole
Oh, cool.
thing is like the first track I kind of discuss a little bit of like what my episode felt like, and then the rest of the album proceeds to have like these interludes of like kind of like a Siri voice and machines.
Right.
Like it's like I try to make kind of like a manic stimulation, like a brief like, you know, like there'll be interludes and like this is the first stage in Mania. Here's a second, third.
Oh, so you're talking in it?
Though I got like a robot
Disembodied voice.
like AI voice to kind of like say
That's
some
sick.
stuff. But yeah, there's interludes that kind of we're able to tie the album together. So like these songs fit this vibe, and then there's stage 2, and then it's like goes like then stage 3, and then for the last stage, rather than going to like a depressive like point, I tried to make it come to like
Uplifting.
Uplifting, but like bring people back to reality, but in a positive way. So
it's a full length album.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and it's coming out on vinyl.
Oh,
Actually, we
sick.
dropped the vinyl. The
Congrats.
link is going to come out tonight, as well as vinyls of the last 2 records. 2 of the records I dropped last year, which was "Feeling Bright" in August, which was like a house album, and then I had a lo-fi inspired album in January called Coastline Mind Volume 1. So all 3 of those are on vinyl now.
My man is
and
just pumping out music,
We're doing
bro.
the pre-order. Yeah, and then I have. There's a remix for Maddie that just came out.
Oh yeah, she's
Maddie
doing a whole-
O'Neill?
Yeah.
She's doing a whole remix album. Right?
She's blowing up too. I'm so happy for
Yeah,
her.
she's killing it.
And
She got on
we're
Coachella.
working on another album.
awesome.
Oh, she's
She's on Coachella. I
Oh,
think.
nice.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
doing an
yeah.
after party, I think. Or
Oh,
maybe she's doing
the
big stage.
Dolav,
Still.
maybe,
Yeah.
or the-
Still a huge club.
yeah.
That's perfect for her too, because it's like that LA. She's gonna blow up. She's
like
already
a-
starting to blow
Yeah,
up.
she's like a really good DJ too.
She's been grinding a long
She's been
time.
grinding
too.
a
We gotta
long
get her back
time.
on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, it'd be different because she's in a whole different
Yeah.
place. She's a homie.
J Mac, thank you.
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
being
you for having me.
vulnerable.
Jonathan!
Thank you. You know, go check out Manic Focus at summer camp. This is coming out before summer camp, so go.
Yeah.
You're
It's
playing
cool.
the big stage, right?
I think Moonshine again.
Yeah,
I know,
let's go.
I'm doing the pre-party,
Yeah.
and then
Is Colby on?
I'm not
You're just
sure.
doing your solos?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I might be doing just DJ sets for that. But
Cool.
I do keep your eyes open for a tour in the fall. I can't say yet, but we are working on that.
All right, go have fun. Talk to you soon.
All
buddy.
right, much love. Thanks for
Cheers,
having me.
brother. Yeah.